We'll now open the December 14th council meeting. And public input tonight, we have Ron Keaton here for the Boy Scouts. No, I guess we don't.
Couldn't get up the hill. Here you go.
No one else is here for the Boy Scouts?
I'll speak for Vaughn.
All right.
Gary Markey with the Parks and Rec Department. Mr. Keaton has asked me again this year if they could utilize that snow dump that they used last year up off of Otter Street where they did their winter jamboree. And that's all he was coming here for tonight, was to ask for your blessing again this year.
All right. I guess we can move you on to other business, Allison.
Thank you.
Any councillors have any conflict of interest regarding the agenda?
Public input.
Oh, sorry.
Come on. You know I'm going to speak. I do. It's Gordon. I want to thank those of you who showed up tonight, braving the elements to come support the library. I know there were several who didn't. They contacted me. They weren't going to come out in this kind of weather, which after it took us more than 3 hours to get home from Midway, I understand. That's bullshit. Yes, that is my reaction exactly. That's bullshit. When I shared with little old ladies on fixed incomes, such as myself, your concerns that they would not be able to absorb the increase in taxes, that they do not use the library. I then was subjected to lectures, rants, and a lot of venting about how the library is important. And maybe people don't understand how expensive books are. So I bought two that I have purchased lately. This is mine, The Sea and Civilization. This is $40. So at $35 on a $95,000 house, yeah, this is $5 more than that. And then Lawrence in Arabia, this is $29. Okay? So that kind of puts it in perspective of that $35 because a lot of us use more than $35 worth of library materials in a week. Now, the petition. It was suggested we do this, and considering we've only been doing this for a week and a half during the holiday season, and we have more than 300 signatures, that's not bad. We, the undersigned, recognize the evolution in a short year and a half of the Caribou Public Library, bringing the aforementioned entity into the 21st century with programming, technology, meeting spaces, and access to STEM and literacy skills. With this knowledge, we realize the library is understaffed, and we demand our library stay open, fully staffed. This would mean filling a second full-time position, which would keep all current hours at the current status. Now, had to close the library today. Part of it was because of weather, part of it's because of staffing. Now I have a 98-year-old friend who comes to the library. What happens if she tows into her car, drives to the library to discover there wasn't enough staff and she can't get into the library? Really? 98-year-old? Come on. What about all the social workers who meet their friends after school in the library because there's no place else for them to go? Where are they supposed to go if the library is closed because we are short-staffed? The library means something to the people of this community. They use it, and they are not happy that you are thinking of closing the library because we don't have enough staff to cover what is a shrinking number of hours per week. Thank you.
Any other public input?
Sure, I will.
Wow, I don't know if I could top that. Hi folks, my name is Catherine Wilcox-Bossy, and some of you may not know me, but I am the Youth Service Librarian at the Caribou Public Library. And I'm here tonight to address one of the major budgetary issues on the agenda tonight, which is the reinstatement of the full-time position at the library. First, let me share a little bit about myself. I have lived in Caribou all my life and have enjoyed all the wonderful things our city has to offer, particularly our historic and iconic Andrew Carnegie Library. I once was that little girl spending time during my spare time and summer breaks in the book stacks. I took part in many programs that was once offered at the library that was directed by Miss Jean Shaw. The Caribou Public Library is the first place where I fell in love with children's literature and adult literature. Throughout pursuing my higher education, I was able to experience working in many different libraries and learning how to operate different sections of the library, but no library is close to my heart like the Caribou Public Library. There I have worked my way up the career lattice. I was first a volunteer at the library. I did my internship there at the library. I was a cataloger, and then now I'm currently the Youth Service Librarian. And as a past childhood patron of the library and participant in the programs, I have first-hand knowledge of the important role that programs play in educating our community youth. It's not just checking in and out books. It's managing a library within a library. When young patrons step into the children's room, they're introduced to an environment of learning through play. Play is the way children learn. I personally take my teaching models from Maria Montessori and Jean Piaget. I am an educator, and the resources we provide children give them hands-on experiences through the use of using robots, tablets, puzzles, and other learning enrichment experiences. I'm responsible for developing lesson plans and programs that increase our youth's knowledge. No testing or learning result is needed to be implemented for this. Children are able to learn and explore literature. And many homeschool patrons even take the learning enrichment that I give them during our programming, and they add it to their educational portfolio to show the state of Maine that, yes, they are learning certain valuable information. As I mentioned, I manage a library within a library. I'm responsible for many of our operations. I'm responsible for my children's room especially. I'm responsible for placing book orders, cataloging, managing overdue accounts, renewals, shelving the books, maintaining a growing collection, weeding out and placing outdated resources, applying for youth-based grants, processing memorials, signing up children for registration cards, and maintaining ongoing programs such as Little Explorers, Beyond the Book, and Babies and Books programs. I also, throughout the months, do special programs that generally date around seasonal themes, such as this Tuesday we'll be having a program based around the holidays. I also assist my coworkers with general operations of the library when necessary. A lot of effort goes into making sure our library remains a successful operation. I have an incredible co-workers I work with and a director who they all take great pride in their work, and they all give 100%, and we are truly blessed in that area. However, we are constantly busy with patrons taking in and out resources and just using our facility as an educational hub. And as an employee, our responsibilities are many. The list I just recently provided were just the duties that I'm responsible for within my own arena. So with the reinstatement of the full-time position, we'll be able to operate more efficiently and effectively and provide our patrons with hopefully even more resources and more opportunities to grow and learn. And I hope tonight I have enlightened you and delighted you, and I thank you for your time.
Anyone else that has public input?
My name is Larry Tibbs. Please bear with me. I've never had to do anything like this before. Wanda, I spoke to her today. We have received a letter from the city concerning our property. we're in arrear quite a bit of money, many years, and apparently the city council has deemed that you can waive the late fees, but you're asking for the amount due within a certain amount of time, and realistically, we're not able to do that. We're going to need more time than that. And she encouraged me to come tonight and say what I had to say. Some of it had to do for medical reasons. It started back in 2007. That particular surgery lingered on for 2 years. Some of the expenses was not covered by insurance. Since then, I've had a number of different surgeries and other things happening. And obviously we put the taxes on the back burner. And it's coming around to bite us. And we just need more time to catch up on the taxes. I know the amount off the top of my head. I don't know if you need that offhand. But you're asking for the amount to be paid up by May of next year. And realistically, we can't do that. We're going to need probably next year 6 to 8 months.
Anything else? Mr. Council, we're going to deal with classified property further on in the
I'm sorry, sir?
His property on this list?
No, his property is one of the other ones in the large arrears.
That is part of number 5 years, no?
No, that's the other issue.
He's one of the ones that received a letter the council asked us to send out to those that will never get caught up on their property taxes.
okay.
We're paying, I'm sorry, I didn't include that. We are paying the current monthly, and sometimes we do miss that. However, it's not adequately enough to cover, and we just have to adjust our budget and do what we got to do to take care of this problem.
All right. Anything else you'd like to tell us?
We need to appreciate it if you can give us more time, and it'll be taken care of as soon as possible.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else have public input? All right. Anyone in council have a declaration of conflict of interest here for any of the agenda items? We do. Over there. All right. Okay, consider authorizing minutes of the following meetings: November 23rd, 2015, council meeting minutes; October 19th, budget forum minutes; October 20th, budget forum minutes; and November 30th, 2015, council workshop minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Council McDonough, second by Council McDowell. Any questions on any of the minutes or anything? All those in favor? Approved. Consent agenda, we have November 2015 financials, November library report, police department report, and fire department report, license approval.
Pizza Hut.
Who's the license approval?
Pizza Hut.
And abatement of property taxes. And I think those were some small amounts on a trailer or something, I believe. So, second. Moved by Councilor Martin, seconded by Councilor Smith. Any questions on any of the consent agenda items? All those in favor? Approved. Number 5, tax acquired property. Manager Bruce.
On the next pages is a list of the property that we have tax acquired. The properties that are on the first page are the ones that we acquired in November. The properties on the second page were tax acquired previously. In accordance with the tax acquired property policy, we're asking the council to authorize staff to place the property out to bid as outlined. Council has received a request from Tina Dicey, whose husband is listed as the owner of record at 9 Water Street, to have more time to pay the taxes. Also included here is a letter from Michael Burgermeister, a member of an investment group which owns property on Washington Street and Emond Road. Last year, the council allowed owners of record to pay off all 3 years of back taxes, but set a timeline for them to do it in. But that happened after the city had opened bids on the properties. We can do that again this year, or if the council would like, they can set a specific date for the properties to be paid in full and have that as part of the notice when the properties are put out for bid. Assuming the council authorizes us to put these properties out for bid tonight, we would plan on opening bids on January 20th and would bring those bids to the council on January 25th. If the council wanted to set a date of January 6th to allow the owners of records to pay all the back taxes, we can move forward and hopefully not have quite as big of a hassle as we did last year. Of course, the council can choose to do that or not and take the requests on a case-by-case basis again. The very bottom property, 23 River Road, is the one we just cleaned up. Total cost for that project came in at about $27,000. The council may want to discuss what level of a minimum bid to place on that property.
What are council's wishes?
Stacy, at the last meeting, your request was you were looking at needing till the first of the year to pay for this.
Yeah, he's supposed to be getting something from his disability. They said towards the end of December, as I explained the last time, and I didn't want to set a date until we heard. We did hear a letter. They said the end of December of 2015, but as of now, we have not heard of anything yet. And I don't know the amount, and as I explained the last time, and I was told not to pay anything because I didn't know what your decision was going to be. He just needs more time. He is scheduled to go to Brigham Women's Hospital the end of January for another brain tumor removal with an aneurysm, so I don't know what's going to happen. And I just told him I was not fighting, but I'm asking to fight to keep the place for him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion that we allow the property owners to pay the 3 years of arrears and taxes by January 6th. Full. If not, they continue to go to bid. They will go to bid. That should satisfy your request. That was an occupied home. The other homes I'm not as concerned about because they're not occupied.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Any other comments?
Yeah, so is that something that we need to write into the policy? I think last year, the one concern I had was, we made a change, and I'm for, giving people enough time to, pay their property taxes, but on the same token, the staff has to deal with that. They're given how many notices? 2, 3 notices about delinquent taxes over a period of 3 years, and, to me, if that's going to be something, we should put it in the policy. And it's only fair to me, to the people that are bidding, to know that when they're bidding, there's a chance that, the council can, allow those owners to pay it off at the final hour, so.
Not if we set the date before the bids go out.
This is true. But again, that's not the way the policy is written.
I know, it was a problem last year.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Councilor Smith, but I'd give them till the end of January. But, I mean, if we give them till the end of January, put them up for bid February 1st, we still have them out of the way by March, right? March, April?
It'd be good to get them back and have the sales completed by April 1st for taxation purposes. So I wouldn't go any later than getting them out to bid by the 1st of February.
I would agree with the end of January, give them a little extra.
So we do not put them to bid,
Put them out to bid the 1st of February.
all of the properties?
Allow until the end of January for them to pay the taxes rather than January 6th.
Then, rather than January 6th, and then not put them out to bid at this time?
Until February.
Yeah.
And again, is that something that we should be writing into the policy and moving forward? Or is this just a one-time thing? Because I see that coming up next year.
Yeah, I will.
And the
No,
other-
I would agree to put that policy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay as long as there's, it just seems like,
That the deadline comes before the bids. Because somebody bid on property that,
Before it goes out to bid.
and then they didn't get it, even though they were a little bid, because, right.
there's already a discretionary statement in there otherwise.
can we get a motion to, or change the motion, sorry, to, from January 6th till,
January 29th is the last business day. I'd ask for that date.
How many other people have we had other than inquire about the properties other than Dicey and this other
Those
gentleman?
are the only two so far that I'm
They're
aware of.
the only two that have made any concern.
Typically, people don't pay attention until they see their house in the newspaper, so.
I'll amend that motion to January
should we
20th.
say, can we say the last day of January, and then if we're gonna put it in the policy, we can, last working day of January?
Nice business day.
Did you add on your motion to put that into our policy?
Yes, I'll amend that and put that into the policy as well.
So last business day or last day?
Last business day.
Okay.
Pay off all 3 years of the back.
I'll amend my second.
Any other questions or comments?
So then they won't go to bid till
Yeah, February.
February 1st, okay.
All those in favor? Approved.
Somebody let this go.
Need something on River Road too, as well?
I mean, the minimum bid there was set at 10,000. I thought that was all part of the motion, that if they aren't paid, then everything goes out to bid as presented.
Right.
River Road, we'd already taken back though and cleaned up.
Right. Yeah, I'm not, that one wouldn't qualify for the back 3 years.
But you have a bid of what, 10,000, did you say?
Right. Minimum.
And the other properties on the second page, those will go, I assume will go out to bid at the same time in February?
Yeah, for purposes of going out to bid, everything will go out at
It'll all
once.
go out at the same time.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, that's it. Daycare ordinance.
Planning board's requesting the city council adopt changes to the daycare ordinance as presented on the next pages. The planning board has spent a fair amount of time looking at the topic and is recommending these changes to streamline the process and not add to the stringent requirements already in place by the state. The ordinance is on the following pages. If council wishes tonight, it would need to be introduced, and then we would hold a public hearing on it during our first meeting in January, first regular meeting in January.
I'll introduce ordinance number 1, 2016 series, City of Caribou, County of Worcester, State of... What's the matter?
Go ahead.
Did I cut you off? Well, no, I'll stop if I need to. Oh, okay. An ordinance amending Chapter 13 Land Use Ordinance, Section 760 Daycare Facilities.
So the ordinance has been introduced. Public hearing will be scheduled for our first meeting in January. Next item is ambulance contracts.
Time to renew our ambulance contracts with our contract communities. The contracts are the same with the exception of the per capita fee. That fee is being increased by 25 cents per capita. The new contractor amounts are listed there. Sample contract is also on the following pages. We'll need council approval on the contracts.
What does that put it at? Is it $11 now?
It's $11.25 now, and it'll go to $11.50.
So it's roughly 2%. Yeah.
Moved.
Second.
By Councilor Martin, seconded by Councilor Smith, to approve the new ambulance fees for the surrounding communities. Any other comments or discussion? All those in favor? Approved. The next item is the fire department contracts.
Once again, it's time to renew our contracts with our contract committees for fire. The contracts are the same with the exception of the fee, and that's being increased by 2%. The amounts are listed there, and the sample contract is on the following pages.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Councilor Smith, seconded by Councilor Terrio. Any questions or comments on the fees? All those in favor? Approved. Next item is the municipal building remodeling.
We've gone out for bids on the project to remodel the main floor of City Hall. The project includes opening up the clerk's area by removing 2 offices that are behind the clerk's office now. One's used for elections, the other is for storage. Moving vehicle registration to the clerk's office. The current vehicle registration area will become 4 offices and a storage closet. It's the base of the project right there. There are 2 alternates included with the bids. Alternate 1 was to do new flooring and paint in the council chambers, the alcove right outside the council chambers where the mailboxes are for the councilors, and the bathrooms. This would be an additional cost to the base bid. Alternate 2 was to reuse the lights that we currently have for the new offices that will be built rather than buying new lights. New lights would be used in the clerk's office, so we don't have a mix and match of new and old there. Alternate 2 would be a deduct from the base bid. Outline where the money's coming from for the project. Total of 143 is what we have available. List of the bidders and their prices. Low bid with both alternates comes in from J.P. Martin and Sons at $130,460. The bid from Ryan Spooner did not acknowledge everything he needed to in his complete bid, so that one should not be considered. The bids did come in higher than we originally hoped, but it's still within the amount of money we have available for the project. It'd be nice to have the council chambers, alcoves, and restrooms redone. Utilizing new lights throughout the project area would provide for more control over office lighting than reutilizing the current lights that we have today. Council should decide if they'd like to move forward with the project, and if so, they should award the bid and any alternates they would like included. The motion to move forward should also authorize the city manager to sign any and all necessary documents to execute and complete the project.
The design for this, was this approved by council? I think maybe it was presented when I wasn't here.
The council approved hiring the design engineering. Yep.
Okay. And then, have they approved the design, or is it?
The design itself has never been brought to the council.
I just, myself, I find it awful. I was actually shocked when I saw the numbers to do this. As a renovation, roughly $140,000.
The low bid came in at 130. The original estimate we had gotten from some contractors was about 110. The new lights is kind of the big thing, and then the HVAC stuff with the heat pumps was a little bit of above what they
But we are doing individual offices. It's not going to be an open area down here?
Correct.
I mean, again, I don't know what the discussion was on this because I wasn't here, but I would have thought it would have been an open concept. I could see having one private office in case there was something confidential that had to be discussed or something, but so you walk in the front door, who are you going to see? Anybody?
There'll be offices where the registration areas and all the clerks and registration things will be moved to the clerks.
Around the corner of that wall, right?
Right. There's a...
So when you walk in, you're going to see no one.
We're going to open up that wall a little bit more so it'll be more visible.
A lot of the councilors walked through the deal,
Yeah, I think it was the night I wasn't here.
and that aspect was brought up, and it will be set up so people can, will see the counter there when...
There's a duct work there, wiring that goes up and pipes that come down in that area, so we can't take the whole thing out, but it'll be open more than it is right now.
Any other thoughts on this, or, I guess you all walked through, so you're all familiar with it, but...
I'll make a motion to approve the low bid as presented.
I'll second that.
Is that with the alternates?
With the alternates.
With the alternates for the 134.60 to J.P. Martin. Is that?
Yeah, well, let me Yes, with alternate 1, not alternate 2. I just don't see the need to just put new lights in.
So you're approving it with both alternates, is that?
With alternate number 1. Base bid and alternate number 1.
Okay, so you're approving the 138,650.
Yep.
Is that what you're seconding?
So you don't want to, you want to put new lights in?
Yeah.
The new lights would be LED, more efficient than what we have today.
I'll second that, but I would also like to see, it says the motion is move forward, city manager sign all necessary documents. I'd like to see a time frame put on this of the job. I don't know what would be reasonable, 90 days.
Right, so once...
Drag on for...
Right, once it's issued, the notice to proceed is issued, and the contract documents are signed, once it starts, they'd have 90 days to finish.
They will have... Okay.
Yeah, so it'd be mid-April would be
From the
the
time that's
completion. Right.
When would the start be? What's the projection?
They would do mid-January for a start, just because they'd need time to order supplies and that type of thing.
Any other comments? We have a motion on the floor to accept the bid from J.P. Martin and Sons for $138,650 to do the project with alternate 1, which is new lights everywhere. All those in favor? Passed. Sorry, opposed.
Abstain.
You abstained, right?
Opposing.
One in opposition. Tiffany. Oh, if you want to put my name down. $2016 budget.
The budget presented tonight is based upon the discussion the council had during their November 30th, 2015 workshop. The changes from that, from what was presented that evening include a reduction in capital reserves of $100,000 for the ambulance reserve and $53,000 for the fire equipment reserve. Paying for the boiler at the fire station out of the TIF funds is acceptable and was discussed back in July when the council approved the projects. However, the council at that time decided to pay for it out of the fire equipment reserve. If the council wishes to pay for it out of the TIF funds, I would ask for a motion to reflect that change. Another point that was discussed during the public forums on the budget and should be brought up again are the changes the state has made from the homestead exemptions. Current law provides for a homestead exemption in the amount of $10,000 with the state reimbursing municipalities at a rate of 50% of the lost revenue. Beginning in 2016, the homestead exemption will be increased to $15,000 with reimbursement at 50% as well. In 2017, the homestead exemption will increase to $20,000 with the state reimbursement rate of 50% on the first 10 and 75% on the second 10,000. For 2016, that'll cause a shortfall of approximately $85,000. So even with the changes due to the consensus on the 30th, we would still likely see an increase in 2016, which at the moment would be about $60,000. However, that's very preliminary, a rough number at the moment. We won't know the real number until June when all the assessing work is done there. Spending one-time money on ongoing expenses is not a good idea. It'll only further exacerbate the structural deficiency we'll be facing in 2017. By spending one-time funds and not funding capital equipment in 2016, we're simply just kicking the can down the road. As was noted to the council on November 23rd, we're already looking at an increase of $77,000 for 2017. By using the one-time funds and not funding capital equipment in 2016, that'll increase the amount we need to add in 2017 by $153,000, bringing that to a total of $230,000. 7% increase in health insurance in 2017 would mean another $76,000. We don't know what 2017 will bring for workers' comp, property insurance, fuel oil prices, or anything else. So as of right now, we're projecting a $306,000 gap that will need to be bridged in 2017. It's certainly not out of the question that could be nearly $400,000 by the time comes. That's going to be very difficult for the staff and the councilors still sitting at the table at that time to do so. We've worked hard over the past few years to try and increase our fund balance to better meet best county practices and help improve cash flow. By doing this, we would lose grounds on that progress as well. Assuming the council is keeping the same position that was the consensus on November 30th, the following motions would be needed. 1, approving the payment of the new furnace at the fire station from the TIF fund rather than the fire equipment, transferring $100,000 from fund balance to G136903 ambulance reserve, which will be done in January 2016, and improving the expense budget for the general fund and enterprise funds.
Any comments or questions from council? Councilor Martin.
Yes, we put $3 million in the bank next door. That took care of our cash flow problem, didn't it?
That's in a CD, that's not in the general checking account.
But it can't be used as,
It's in a CD, it's not in the general checking
I thought
account.
when we used to have the school money, that we used that for cash flow purposes.
We did, but it wasn't tied up in a separate CD.
Okay. And I know we talk about a lot of stuff during budget, but I don't remember this homestead exemption discussion.
It was part of the assessing discussion and part of the PowerPoints that were given out that night.
Okay, but regardless of whether I remember it or not, you should have put it in the budget.
That's a revenue side, and we don't know exactly how it's going to play into everything else.
If they increase the homestead exemption and only reimburse us 50%, that's going to cost us money, correct? That's what should have been put in the budget.
Isn't it just less revenue?
It would really affect the mill rate. I mean, when we come to set the mill rate, it would tell, our valuation is what we have.
What it'll probably do is raise the mill rate slightly, but lower the taxes slightly to the individuals, and there won't be any increased cost in their tax.
There's no real way to have that number until you know what qualifies for the homestead and what doesn't.
Any other questions or comments?
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of the furnace out of the TIF rather than the fire equipment reserve.
Second.
You want to do them all at once, or not do them?
I'll do them all at once.
Second.
One motion.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the fire station from the TIF, transferring the $100,000 from the fund balance to the ambulance reserve, and approving the expense budget for the general fund and enterprise fund. All those in favor? Opposed? Passed by 4-3.
I'd like to make a motion to add a librarian into the budget.
We probably should have done that before we passed the budget.
All those three were just individuals.
You approved the expense budget for the general fund and enterprise fund. Is that not included?
I think it is. I think a motion to, I mean, we could still make changes to it if the council wanted to. We just have to have it all set by December 15th.
Did we just pass the budget?
Yeah.
So now can we add to the budget?
No.
Technically, no.
Technically, I would say, I guess I want to advise it at this point. But
I mean, I don't think you can add to the budget once you passed it. But, you know, if I'm wrong, tell me.
You're right.
once we adopt a budget by charter, you're not supposed to increase it.
Yeah, okay.
Because I thought we, when we passed those three items, I didn't hear what's past the budget. I heard let's pass these three items.
I read them all off.
Okay.
What you can do at any point is, you want money to do the library, but we passed the budget, so you'd have to have some cuts to correspond with it. That at this point, that would be your option.
Yeah, such as cash we had here to do the office.
Completely understand how that works. Yep.
All right. Other business, we had the snow dump, the Boy Scouts brought up.
Mr. Keaton is here now.
Well, it doesn't matter, we know what it is, it's pretty basic, it seems we've done in the past, so. Can we get a motion to approve it?
Before you do a motion, sorry I was late, but I would like to add something to it.
If it's passed tonight, it'd be great. The council likes the area, and they would like to have it year after year. So I was asked to, instead of coming to the council every year for approval, we would give the rec department and the city, no, not the rec, but the city and Carey Medical proof of insurance for the liabilities. And the rec department would groom the trails so we can run the dog sleds, and we would have the highway department clear the area for camping. And they asked if they like the setup and the expansion that we have for plans for this year, and if that all works out, we'd like to do it from year to year from here on.
Well, are you telling us you don't want to come and see us every year? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you know...
Too big of a job to come and see us every year?
It isn't, but, you know, I think this would expedite things a little bit on our part, where we know what's expected from year to year.
Well, I guess I could say, yes, we could do that, but you'd have to understand that that still doesn't mean you could do it year to year, because the council changes every year. And maybe the next council would say, we don't want to do that anymore.
Well, that's okay. If you don't want to approve that, that's fine. I'll come year to year.
But it just doesn't mean that it...
Yes, I
It's
understand.
ongoing forever. I mean, I don't have any problem approving it on an ongoing basis, but down the road, someone may want to change that, so.
Yep. Well, you make the
What does
decision.
the council want to do?
I'll make a motion to approve it on an ongoing basis.
Until further notice.
I'll second that.
Councilor Martin, Councilor Smith seconded. All those in favor? Approved.
Well, I saw Mr. Keaton a week or so ago, and I said you had a couple more Eagle Scout ceremony. So I asked him, I said, how many does that make? So under his tutelage, 61 Eagle Scouts in Caribou, Maine. So, Mr. Bouchard, I think that would be a good story if you have a slow time sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing in a community this size that there's that many Eagle Scouts have gone through it. Certainly,
Sitting right up front there.
I could say something, Jody, but I won't. Good. Councilor McDonough.
I'd like to make a request if it's possible to see the fits for the new school for the Hilltop location and the high school location. I understand that they have those. Could they bring them at the next meeting, please?
I believe I have digital copies I can email out.
When are they coming, Austin? Is there a date set?
January 11th.
Okay.
Yeah, the first regular meeting in January, they'll be here.
All right. Anybody else have any other business? I have one more item here, I guess. We have Councilor-elect sitting in the audience tonight, and we have a Councilor at large that will be leaving us here at the end of the year. And I'd just like to thank Tiffany and present her with her plaque. You can take that home and put it on your desk. You want to come down here, Tiffany, because I think he's going to want a picture. It's my guess.
You would be right.
Wait, I take my glasses off. Thank you. You're a great citizen. Anything else under other business?
Did the council want to act on Mr. Tibbs' request?
What was the time frame we gave?
We gave everybody till the end of May to pay off, and if they paid The principal council agreed to waive the
That was
interest.
on the other property, the
Right.
long-term contract properties.
Right.
What are you proposing?
Of increasing our amount that we're paying, talked to my girlfriend, and the amount that I talked to Wanda about would be a little less, but if it's in the amount of $300 a month. Apparently the council was gracious enough to get rid of interest, which would help us tremendously. But again, like I said, it's going to take more than May of 2016 to take care of this. I do work in the fall, direct for Scott Urban. Probably push the envelope of taking care of this matter by fall of next year. But I don't want to obligate myself because so many times we've obligated ourselves and it has not worked out.
What is the time frame, Wanda, if it's $300?
Yeah, we figured it out too. It would be like 14 and a half months.
But if the motion was made to forgive the interest if they paid by May, then would that apply if he went over, it wouldn't?
No, the council would have to grant him a special case. Because the motion right now is, they have to pay everything, all the principal by the end of May.
Right, at the end.
Otherwise, we'll seek further legal action to collect the arrears.
What was the original time frame on the payoff as of now? I mean, you said it's
The
14
letter
months.
dated May of 2016. Amount of $4,200, and I believe in change.
The way it is set up now, it would never be paid.
Yeah.
One of those amounts that we never-
But we were paying $100 a month.
How long have you been paying that?
Approximately, well, I don't have my receipts with me, but there was times that it's been, the last payment arrangement, I believe, was 2 years ago. Okay, but at times, car taxes and whatnot, things happen to our home, other expenses, we just don't pay. And the other gentleman upstairs that I talked to, he worked with us and Wanda, has been working with us for years, way more probably than somebody else would. And like I said, this has come around to roost, and we just realistically, we're not able to pay that $4,200 by May.
You can't pay $300 a month.
We push in the envelope, we could probably do it and stick with it under the, we're back to, but it would, $250 would be realistic. I guess if that's what you're asking me. Our income is about $1,800 a month.
Is the house paid for, just out of
Yes,
curiosity?
sir. It was my grandparents' home. Bought it through my parents. It's a small, actually, it's,
I have a concern, is that if we do that to him, then everybody else that's behind him is gonna, and that's an unfortunate thing. Will lending institution engage with you?
no, I tried on different occasions for different things. Because you either run into a debt-to-issue ratio or income ratio, or however they do it. They have all their little quirks.
You do understand the city's position, right?
I understand the city has.
Okay, all right, no, that's all, you don't have to go in, I understand, okay, thank you.
I agree with that. I guess the only point I would make is that I think those properties were, special case. I don't think you can lump them into some of the other delinquent taxpayers, and not necessarily delinquent, because this man's been paying for months. Albeit it's probably, less than ideal, but he's made the effort, or he's trying to make the effort. He has for quite some time. That's the only difference I see.
Some of these people have been paying for years, and to spring them on this and give them 6 months, there's five of these, right?
Six.
I agree with Councilman McDougal that,
How many years has this been at the $100 a month?
Oh, I'm not sure, but
The last payment arrangement was about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, but before that, what was before that?
I started out with, at that point, of course, we didn't owe as much, $50, $75. There were many months that we did not pay. Like I said, this started back in 2007, 2008, when I had major colon surgery. That lingered into 2 years, because I had a colostomy for 6 months. They reversed it, so many medical expenses was not covered by my insurance. And, but other than that, there's really no excuse. But we put it on the back burner, and just basically it's our fault that we should have paid at least something each month, and probably we wouldn't be in this situation.
Just so you were paying $100 a month though, correct?
We still are, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But before that, he was...
One told me they were, I guess we're grandfathered in under a payment arrangement. I don't understand what that means.
Have you missed any payments?
Yes, ma'am.
That voids the payment agreement, right?
yeah, we usually send him out a letter saying you missed your payment, and then usually he would come in and either talk to us or make a payment at that time, or whatever. But yeah, it does state on the arrangement that if you do miss a payment, that the council has the option at that point to put your property out to bid.
I guess my only concern would be, you know, if you've missed a payment at $100, how are you going to pay $300 a month on that?
I don't know, sir. All I know is we don't want to lose our property.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I'm just, you know, if you can't pay 100, how can you, I don't know how you're going to pay 300, it just...
Well, over the years, I guess our taxes have increased. We have a small home, and I guess the taxes, we'll just have to make it happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll just have to, because it sounds like to me we're in a position that we're right up against the wall. Wanda has basically stepped over backwards for us, hasn't said a lot. And apparently, you know, she just did a really good job not pushing us because under the circumstances, and now we're up against it.
Needs to keep in mind though that if you do the 300, it pushes it to 14 months or whatever, that there'll be another year added as well.
It'll be another year of taxes added.
Yeah, another year of taxes.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's going to put it in a different...
Even further.
Yep.
I don't think there's any...
And I do agree with Councilor Dunn, whatever we do, we have to be prepared to do for everyone, because the others are going to ask for the same thing. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt.
It's a different case, though. It's not tax acquired.
Yes, it is. It is tax acquired.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
He's one of the ones that'll never get
It is tax acquired, yeah.
He's one of the ones that'll never get caught up paying $100.
These are the ones we discussed the other week that would never get caught up,
Right.
5 of them. And whatever we do is going to, we really going to have to do for all of them.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, if we make a motion, this is paid up in 15 months, and we do the same for everybody else, that you divide up it, and then if they miss a payment, that's it.
Right, the last meeting the council gave everybody 6 months.
Right.
So if we want to change that,
We were hardly getting anything. This would give us something. And instead of owning another home, in 15 months, we'd have somebody caught up paying taxes. And if they miss a payment, we take it.
We've already taken it.
Well, take it again.
Can only do
I
that
made a
once.
motion that and the intention is to get these current and get them paid, not to, it was to make you're obviously here.
Yes, sir.
Because of that, I mean, so I don't have a problem with, as Dave says.
I would like nothing better to hand you a check for $4,200 today.
We're up the
And
agreement.
we've been behind on other bills. taking us
The other thing, what about the interest? Are you gonna forego all the interest on these?
Yeah. I mean, I'll make that a motion.
I'm just,
So you're making,
wanna make
I'll make a
sure.
motion that everybody in that group of 6 gets 15 months to get caught up. And if they miss a payment,
With no interest.
no interest.
And this would also include their current next year, 2016 taxes.
Well, they would not be, well, at some point they have to be caught up to get a quitclaim deed, right?
Correct.
Okay. So whatever, you get 15 months, be caught up,
15 months to 2016.
including next year's taxes.
So that'd be about $5,000.
So you get 15 months to
15 months, no matter how we do it. Thank you.
Would the council want us to send everybody a letter once again stating that we've changed our minds and not requiring 6 months, now it's 15 months? How do we want to notify everybody of this change?
Is it just 6 people?
Right.
I think you have to notify everybody else.
was everybody notified about?
Yep, and that's why he's here. Everybody received the letter about having 6 months. So if council wants to change that, which is certainly fine, we just need to notify everybody that they've changed that stance.
So we have a motion to give them 15 months, forego all the interest.
Miss the payment.
and be current.
But what about missing the payment? Is that?
Miss a payment, the
Well, but-
deal's done.
It's done, yeah.
Now, missing a payment, is that like you have, do we have to give them 30 days or something, or is that?
Well, the payments would, I mean, they typically pay on the same day every month. The agreements state that, so.
Okay. No missing of payments.
We have the motion by Councilor Martin, seconded by Councilor McGivney. You second? Any other discussion? All those in favor? Approved.
Thank you.
You'll have to send another letter, Mr. Biggs.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
I did have in front of the council another item about sick and vacation banks. Have been approached by a few employees that have expressed interest in having their vacation and sick payments paid out today rather than waiting for retirement. Currency policy states the banks would be paid out at retirement. If we were to pay out today, we could save money versus waiting a few more years. It would allow employees to put the money into their retirement accounts, potentially see better returns by having invested. It wouldn't be, while we don't have enough money to pay everybody out today, it might be beneficial to offer these buyouts on a voluntary basis. If we do this, we would need to amend the personnel policy. That would have to go through the ordinance, but I wanted to bring it to the council to see if there was any interest in that.
Well, I think we should, I think it's certainly worth considering. But we'll have to work out how the logistics are going to work depending on how many want it and so on. And yes, it will require the personnel policy being changed, so I'm guessing we're probably going to have a personnel committee meeting here anyway in January, so maybe we can discuss that at the same time.
We can?
Why are we having a personnel committee? We are the personnel committee.
Yeah, I know.
So let's put it on the agenda.
We can do that.
For the first meeting.
What happens if we run out of money? It would be on a first-come, first-served basis, basically.
Right, it'd have to
and
be
they'd
on
have to
a-
wait.
Well, we don't have any numbers in front of us either.
Right, it'd have to be
No,
on
but if everybody
whatever's
comes,
available.
he said there's not enough to fool everybody, so everybody.
Yeah, we don't know who's willing and who wants it.
Oh, that, oh, okay.
Just have to do it at the same time.
The whole package.
Anything else?
Well, not that I said something.
Can we get a motion to adjourn?
Right there.
First, I would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And thanks for putting up with us.
Hopefully everybody will get home safely. I don't know what it's doing out there now. All right, all in favor of adjournment? We're adjourned.
I'll second.
Somebody needs a second.
The last, yes, the last.